And you know, these issues that I bring up, even though they might be a little sensitive, even though people might hear them, you know, just follow their lead so you don't pry too much, because there are a lot of people who do want to talk about them. Just like, you know, follow the lead, follow the lead. But most importantly, I really want to make sure that everybody remembers this, and that's that I want everyone to understand how much you can help. I mean, I told you a story about how things can go wrong with that job that I didn't get. After a couple of years after that, I actually had a job where everything went right. And it was amazing. With this job, at first I was a bit nervous because I had to take this rigorous background test and this background check to work as a temp employee at a Silicon Valley computer company. When the woman who administered the test called with the results of this background check, I almost stopped breathing when she jokingly said, "Oh, I had no idea you were guilty of so many horrible things in your past." Just kidding. Yeah, really. Lucky to be here. Yeah, you know, I had imagined her digging through all of my most personal records and denying me a job, again, that I was ridiculously overqualified for just because of something that had come up in a background check. But once I got that job, I was as happy as could be. And the issue of my gender didn't come up once. I commuted an hour and a half each way to work, and I loved it, even though it was a horrible commute. I was thrilled just to have the opportunity to start my career over. Now, in conclusion, let me say that these days I think we should be asking for much more than the opportunity to start a career over again. I mean, nobody should be forced to start their career over because their work experience came when they were wearing something different, differently gendered, however you want to phrase it. Now, I was lucky. I had an education that I could fall back on. I had a really flexible profession. I was young and independent and unencumbered by, you know, relationships or kids or some things that a lot of people have to deal with. I could start over. But these days, because of the film and the exposure that we've gotten, I hear from many, many people who aren't as lucky as I happen to be. And they tell me their deepest wishes. They tell me that they wish they hadn't been kicked out of the house when they were in their teens. They tell me they wish they had gotten education or work experience. They tell me that they wish they were further along in their process of transition, that they wish their family hadn't disowned them, that they could find a job that matched their skills so they could pull their life out of the limbo that society had forced them into. And I really think it might be impossible to overstate how important it is to trans persons when they are considered equals in the workplace. Really think it's hard to overstate that. For many people I know, it's absolutely the most important place to be accepted as equals. A discussion of trans equality in the workplace isn't merely about finding ways to mitigate the negative aspects. It's also about recognizing how important the workplace is as an affirming space. And hopefully it's also about finding ways to maximize this effect. One of the first places I felt accepted was at work, and I will always be grateful for that. And remember, it's not uncommon to be dealing with people who have lost their families, who have lost their friends or their children, and that work may be the one and only place where they can find that acceptance. When I was working on this presentation, I made a quick list of the things that I thought I needed when I was transitioning. And that was, first thing I wrote down was income, right? It's expensive, and you have stability there. The second thing was medical care, right? Third was just stability, just a little bit of stability. And fourth was emotional support. Now, each of you in this room probably has the power to provide the first three elements, because those happen in the workplace. And maybe you can even provide the fourth, though I don't think it's required, this emotional support, but to a trans person, once those three things are crucial. You know, the fourth is just a bonus. And when you provide that to a trans person, you're providing it to a fascinating, wise, I think, probably overqualified, and sometimes fragile, and endlessly appreciative trans person. So I say, go forth and do so. And please, please, please don't ever forget how much you can help. Thank you very much.